Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks. This is episode 59. Usual suspects, myself, Dakota, and of course, Tim.
How we doing?
So we have, the day of the recording is Sunday, June 13th. So you'll probably be listening to this on a Monday or during the week. So right now we have the not the Jazz, I lied. Who's playing right now?
The Nuggets and the Suns?
The Nuggets and the Suns, yeah.
They're
about at halftime. Pretty close game. But, I mean...
It definitely seems like that's it for that series, though.
Yeah, it looks like the Suns are going to sweep, which is... I mean, it's pretty crazy to me to think. So, I mean, we can just start right off, going through each series, kind of our initial thoughts so far. And, I mean, we can just start with this one, Suns and Nuggets. I feel like I gave Phoenix not enough credit.
I agree. Yeah, I admittedly definitely undersold them. I just never bought into them.
I think I said in our initial predictions that Lakers Suns was going to go 7, and then the Lakers would take it. I didn't anticipate LeBron being a little, nicked up. I didn't anticipate Anthony Davis not being able to go most of the series.
The Suns have been great though,
and their bench just wasn't really producing either. I mean,
yeah.
All around the Lakers, they didn't look like a team that was going to do much in the playoffs this year after the first couple of games. But the Suns, on the other hand, they played incredibly well, and CP3's being the assist god that he is, and
is really
I think they said he had before game 3, he had like 26 assists to like 1 turnover in the first 2 games.
He's been incredible, and he leads that team so well. Even when they get a little droughts or get a little out of control, he comes in off the bench or just calms the team in, and everything is fine. He just directs the boat like the captain.
Yeah, very impressive. But like we said, they're up 3-0 on the Nuggets. Who, what did I tell you? I said they're gonna play well for a bit, and then there's gonna come a series where they're gonna miss Jamal Murray a lot, and I think this is that series because they're down 3-0.
Yeah.
But
the Suns got too much firepower. Devin Booker's been incredible. He might be the most impressive player in the playoffs, I think, so far. It's really, really been impressive what he's been doing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think I saw someone on Twitter was like throwing around top 5s for the playoffs so far. So right off the rip, I would probably say
Booker has to be in
Booker.
There.
Embiid, who's
of course, yeah,
putting out close to 40 points every game.
Yeah, I'd throw Trae Young in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about that. I mean, I'm fine with that. Definitely Kawhi Leonard. He's been playing much better.
Luka probably, even though he only played one series.
He did well, and then Spider, D. Mitch.
Yeah,
Don Mitchell's been playing really well.
I do like the Suns team. What hurts me when I watch Linguini limbs, like Michael Bridges out there. Do you see his arms? He's got the
Linguini limbs.
He's just got long like tentacles, but he's so good. He plays great defense and gives them a nice little shot on offense. I really miss having him for about an hour on the Sixers. He would look great on this lineup if he was still with us. That trade definitely is not aged well, and it's not aging any better watching them dominate in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, you can't hit on all your moves, but
I know, but when you draft the guy and he's, in your building and then you just trade him away like that hurts. That stinks, especially for Zaire Smith, who just did absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Let's see. Trying to think what else. Yeah, I mean, that series, like I said, they're close to half. It's a close game right now, but the whole series has been they play close towards halftime, and then by the fourth quarter, the Suns just pull away.
Michael Porter's kind of disappeared. The team's really you just don't see it with them.
I watched game 3, and it just like they were just putting up they were chucking up bricks. Like you said, like Porter was just shooting really bad shots, like in cover, covered. While it wasn't even a good, clean, open look, but. Yeah, honestly, I don't know.
This has been the least exciting series so far, and I do think it's going to be a sweep. So, but hey, we'll see. I'm excited about this Phoenix team.
Yeah.
Since we're already in the West, talk to me about the what I think has been a great series so far: the Clippers and the Jazz.
Yeah, I mean, so So Clippers were down the first 2 games. Jazz took them. Donovan Mitchell was playing phenomenal, and then
yes, he is.
Game 3, Kawhi came alive again, as he does.
Yeah.
I didn't get to catch a ton of Game 3, but I heard that Defensive Player of the Year Gobert was getting mutilated a couple times, which is funny because I'm still standing by that Ben Simmons should have won that award.
I agree.
Especially after what he's been doing to Trae Young. Him and Thibault on Trae Young have been insane. But we'll get to that.
I mean, he's looked good. I thought he's looked really good in this series, especially because you see Leonard and George love to get to the hole, especially Leonard. He loves to use his physicality and take it to the paint. And you can just see that Gobert is kind of eliminating that part of their game.
Yeah, even PG played well. You called him out a couple episodes ago, and he put like up 30 the other game.
But he hasn't. I've been extremely disappointed with him. He's just not efficient. I mean, game 1 he was 4 of 17.
He's older now too.
That's 4 of 17, 8 of 18. Yeah,
okay,
that's unacceptable.
That's pretty bad.
And it's not like the guy's playing 44 minutes, and game 2 goes 8 and 18. He's just, I don't know. He's been very inconsistent. What he got going for him is he makes his free throws. That's how he gets most of his points. The 20 and the 27, they look good, but he doesn't do it. He misses big shots constantly. He's really not played up to the level of player that he should be. And again, showing his playoff weakness. Him and Giannis just are scared of the playoffs.
Yeah. So on that note, we both think Suns are going to take care of business, sweep the Nuggets.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Jazz Clippers? I still think the Jazz take it in maybe 6 games, but
listen, I've stuck with the Clippers so far, even though the most infuriating team to try to root for. I still don't understand. I can't actually get a good feel on this team. I wouldn't be surprised if they get smashed the rest of the series and get eliminated, or also wouldn't be surprised if they win the next 3 games and end the series.
Really?
They have these moments. Like they just wake up for a little bit and they show how talented they are. But they're just so inconsistent and so sloppy at times. Watching them play is brutal. I don't understand what Ty Lue's doing. What was it? Game 1, Rajon Rondo, I don't think even played. I saw Luke Kennard just continuously get cooked. They were just setting screens and putting Kennard on Mitchell in every offensive set, and he was getting destroyed. I don't know why Rondo didn't even see a minute. It baffles me. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I want to look up his minutes because I think it was game 1. Didn't even play. I don't know how he's been doing since then.
Yeah.
Rondo didn't even play. Again, game 3. Doesn't play. Coach's decision. I don't understand. Why did you go trade for this guy? You could definitely use him out there. I think you could use him on defense against Mitchell. It just baffles me.
Yeah, he's one of those players that just he's in the spotlight 1 minute and then he's an afterthought the next. So they did well with the Lakers that year they won last year. And then
I don't understand how you're going to bring in playoff Rondo, trade for him in the season, and he's not even playing in your second round playoff games. I don't understand. Luke Kennard is getting destroyed out there, and you're keeping Rondo on the bench. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Some of these coaching decisions are a bit of head scratchers, but
listen, Beverly plays hard and he plays solid defense for the most part, but he's looked bad in this series. He gives you absolutely nothing on offense. I don't understand why Rondo's not touching the floor. And I mean, Kawhi Leonard could win them the series he did with Dallas, but again, he's inconsistent and really, I don't know what you're gonna get from that guy and from game to game.
Yeah, but I still say Jazz. Jazz take that. How do you feel about the Sixers for last? How do you feel about Bucks and Nets? The Nets looked like they were going to run away with it, and then the Bucks were like, "Nah, let's take our 2 home games." So,
the big news,
tied 2-2. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, but Kyrie's out. I think you could definitely see that the Nets just can't keep up with the Bucks without Kyrie out there. They're not a very good team. They have 3 superstars, and they're missing 2 of them. So if Kyrie's out for a couple games, I think this is probably it for them. I don't know if Durant's going to be able to carry them through.
Yeah, did Harden play the first game? Got hurt, right?
Or
was it the second game?
The Celtics series?
No. In the I'm saying
he hasn't played.
He didn't play at all?
Harden's where have you been?
I thought he played like the first 5 minutes of game 1 and then like they took him out.
Yeah, in the Celtics series.
No, he played. I think you're confused.
I am pretty positive on this.
I'm pretty sure he played most of the Celtics series.
I can guarantee you that is not true.
I think it is because I know I bet on him in game 4, so he definitely was playing.
Honestly, would not put it past you to bet on someone that was hurt and didn't even play.
I don't think they allow you to bet on someone who's not playing, but
they
probably do.
Easy money. If someone like Dakota wants to be dumb enough to bet on someone that's not playing, they're going to take your money.
But yeah, I think this is why I was saying that for the Sixers, this is going to be their easiest year to get to the chip because this isn't a full Nets team. Like they haven't injuries aside, like they hadn't played all together all that much. I felt like the continuity wasn't always there, and all three of them are players who want Harden, Kyrie, and Harden, Durant, and Kyrie all want the ball in their hands. So it's like they got to gel, they got to get used to playing with each other and stuff. So this was time, and now that there's injuries, we already had Harden out. Now Kyrie has that sprained ankle. That's it. Like Drake said, a sprained ankle ain't nothing to play with. But because that's only an injury that'll keep getting worse if you keep playing on it before it's recovered.
I don't know. I saw the play. He looked like he twisted pretty bad. He landed on Giannis' foot. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine that he would be back for this series.
Honestly, if it's a high ankle sprain and it comes back like the next day he's all bruised, he might be out the rest of the playoffs. Because you can tape that thing up, but like it's still going to keep bruising. And in some cases, a sprained ankle is worse than a break because of how fragile those ligaments are.
Well, yeah, I definitely think that the Bucks become the favorite if Kyrie's not out there.
Oh, if it's just Durant, yeah, I think Bucks.
I think even the most optimistic Blake Griffin fan, I have to say he's exceeded all expectations. Like he's been playing much better than I think anyone expected. And
you know why? Because I bet on him and he got like 3 points, and then the next game he went off and got 18. So
there you go.
Yeah,
Blake Griffin has you to thank for.
Yeah.
But I mean, even him exceeding expectations, this Nets team doesn't have anyone outside of Durant.
Yeah, that was the problem. Like for them to be scary, they all had to be healthy and they all had to play. You saw what would happen. You saw what happened with just Kyrie and Durant. They were still still able to take care of business, but like, was it game 3? I think they the total was like 80-80 or something. Like it was low scoring. Like these were two of the high scoring teams in the NBA in this past season, and they couldn't even get over 90 points. Like what?
Yeah, that was a sloppy, just aggressively physical game. And a game that Durant was extremely cold from shooting.
Yeah. I would like to change a prediction. I mean, if Kyrie does, I would say if Kyrie doesn't play the rest of the series and Harden is hobbled or doesn't play either, I think Bucks take this. I think this becomes a Bucks series.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really don't think the Bucks have looked that impressive. I mean, they've got waxed the first 2 games.
Even Giannis,
game 3, the game they won, they didn't even really look great. Good.
Yeah,
yeah. No, he's got the same demons that he had the other seasons. He's got no shot at all. And oh my God, if I have to watch this guy take a half hour to shoot a free throw and miss,
I saw that. Yeah,
like, dude, you can't take a half hour if you're gonna miss 50% of the free throws you take. If you make it, maybe I'll let it go. But dude, you're taking a half hour and you're missing majority of them. You just look like an idiot.
I saw a video.
What's all this nonsense and dancing for when you're going to miss them?
Yeah, I saw a video of. They said Usain Bolt runs a faster 100-meter. He can finish faster in a 100-meter relay than takes Giannis to shoot a free throw.
It's terrible. And I mean, the same thing we killed Simmons for with the hacker Simmons strategy and not making your free throws. Like Giannis, again, same boat. Doesn't need to be a 3-point shooter, but he's got to make his free throws, because if he can't, then that physical nature is useless.
Yeah, but it's crazy how that I did not expect the Nuggets to get swept, and I didn't expect the Bucks to be in this situation where the Nets have so many injuries. So,
hey man, it happens.
That's sports for you.
Now, speaking of an injury, Because can we like, did I overestimate the importance of a meniscus? Because I'm seeing Joel Embiid just go out there and drop 40 points and like play.
He's playing better
games.
after he.
Yeah. Was I in the wrong? I know I'm not a doctor or anything, but I always was under the assumption that MCLs were important. Or meniscuses are important, and Joel Embiid is just destroying that notion for me.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he went out there and scored 40 points on the first game, and we thought he was going to like sit out a couple games, I was like, wow.
I didn't think he was going to play in this series at all. I'm shocked. And I love it. I'm a big fan because I was very depressed when we did this episode last time because I really thought we were in trouble if Embiid couldn't go, and I didn't think he'd be able to go. The other thing is, I feel like I'm on the edge of my seat watching him though. Every time he like jumps or lands and he grimaces, oh my God. I'm like, there it is.
He took a beating last game for sure. He looked rough at the end.
There was a couple moments where I was like, there it is.
Even when he was lined up for free throws, he looked like he was like grimacing a little bit. I will say, I'm just glad game 1 was exactly what I thought it was. Because like I said, I only got to catch half of it because I had to go to work. But from what I was watching and from what I heard and read afterwards, it was like the Sixers played the worst possible game they could have and still only lost by 4. And the Hawks played the best possible game they could have, and it still almost gave up the game. I was like, first of all, there's no way the Hawks are going to shoot better from 3 than the Sixers are going to shoot from free throw percent. Like that already blew my mind.
Yeah, it was one of those games, you know. They literally were. It was the best game the Hawks could have ever played.
Oh yeah, and then they had Danny Green on Trae Young, and that was not working. I saw once they switched to like Ben and Thibault. He went from like 25 points at half to like 7 afterwards.
Yeah, and it's just slowing down that pick and roll game too. He was getting cooked, and game 1 was just the Hawks not missing and Doc not making the adjustment he needed to make.
Yeah, and I mean this is going to sound very biased and a very Philly fan, but I respect Trae Young's game. He's very talented. One of the top, I would say, a top 5 best like young stars in the NBA right now. But I just hate how he plays like for fouls because he's so small and so light that he literally can just bump into people and the refs are going to call it the amount of times I saw Thibault and Ben getting called for fouls when they literally weren't even doing he literally would just run into them and it wasn't even like a charge. It wasn't even a defensive foul. Like they would just give it to Trae because he's smaller and it looks worse bouncing off his body.
Hey man, it's a skill.
I get it. Use what you can to your advantage. If the refs are going to call it, do it. But I don't like watching it. It looks.
Of course, no. It's a frustrating
it's not a good look
game
for
to watch.
Game,
I also think that's kind of hollow. And you're kind of seeing it. You're relying on fouls too much. If you don't get them, you're in trouble.
I mean, in the same breath, I could see people make the argument that Embiid uses his bigger body. That you can't. If you don't move out of the way, he's going to score, and if you stand there, he's still going to score. So you have to kind of take the foul and whatever. But I just don't. I don't know. He just jumps into people all the time, and then he gets the foul shots for it. Like it should be the other way around. But
look at you going on your rant, ripping Trae Young. I love it. Let him know.
He's great point guard. He still gets phenomenal passes. He'll hit his threes. But yeah, I don't know. Some of it he does. I will say about Trae Young, he has one of the nastiest floaters I've ever seen. He'll just, and that shit just goes in like water. It's insane. I've never seen I don't know. It's one of the best floaters I've seen. It's nice, but
God, when they're that size, that's what you got to do when you're in that paint with the big guys.
Yeah, after I just went on a tirade of a speech.
I like it. It was good. You needed to get it out of your system.
Get off my chest.
Good for you. Do you feel better?
Yeah, and I feel better about. I don't think the Sixers drop another game. I think they take care of business.
Me neither. Yeah.
Especially like the way the last 3 games have all played out, or excuse me, the last 2 games have both played out the same way. Sixers start off, first half is like back and forth. And then third quarter, still a little back and forth. Sixers start to pull away. And then fourth quarter, Sixers usually have like a 15, 20-point lead. They can kind of throw the subs in here and there. I did like game 3's strategy of getting the bench involved earlier. I I mean, to expect Shake to come out in game 2 like he did and just drain every fucking shot, like you're not going to get that every night.
Oh
no, he was on a mission. That was insane.
I was at right after game 1 where I didn't even want him to get a single minute anymore.
I know. Well, that was after game 2. I was like, I don't want to see Furkan on the court, and then he
cooks
it. He had a hell of a game on game 3.
I hope. I think at times Doc gets way too deep in the bench. Like I can't say. I know they've been playing well. Furkan and Shake obviously had big games, but I don't know if I want to see that going further. I think I'd rather see them shorten the rotation. Well, we'll see what happens now that Danny Green's hurt. That's an unfortunate injury.
Yeah, I tried to look up to see if there was any news on that, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, now you'll have to give him some more minutes. Hopefully, just give Thibault more minutes.
I hope they start Thibault. I've been loving his defense.
He's looked great.
Phenomenal.
Oh, it's awesome.
His offense has a lot to be desired, but defense.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're a good round team. Like they play strong and tough defense. When they lock in defensively, they are tough to score against.
They're very athletic as a defensive team. Like, did you see even Joel on a torn meniscus? You see that one? He intercepted that alley oop, and I think it was in the fourth quarter, and then turned it around, went for a quick score.
He's very nimble on his feet for a big guy, and it's good to see. What I also like to see is they're bullying the Hawks. Like they're playing bully ball.
Yeah.
And they can do that to a lot of teams because they are big and athletic.
They should be bullying the Hawks.
Absolutely.
Give the Hawks credit though. They're a good team. They're very well rounded, I think. I know I said this about the Jazz a couple episodes ago, but I think the Hawks are also very, very well rounded, especially talking to some other people. They have good pieces around Trae Young. I like John Collins. I think he can do more on the offense. But he's a nice young player.
Yeah, I mean, they have a nice team.
Capella came in like sixth in Defensive Player of the Year voting.
Well, they're missing
had a good bench too. So I mean,
yeah, but they're without Reddish and DeAndre Hunter. It was going to be a tough series for them regardless.
Yeah. I mean, you got to
two pretty solid contributors for you.
You got to play through injuries. I mean, it is what I mean. We might if Danny Green's. I mean, Danny Green is in playoff form right now, missing most of his threes anyways. So
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, I was definitely scared after game 1. I was hoping that it was worst case scenario, and then game 2 and 3 assured me that was worst case. So
yeah, I think it showed you that the Hawks were never going to be able to keep up the shooting they were doing in game 1. It was just unrealistic. I think that was something that can withstand a whole series.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't think it's bold, but I think Sixers win tomorrow. So they'll win Monday, and then I think they'll finish the series on Wednesday and win again.
I agree. I actually predicted 5. The Sixers in 5.
I think I said 6
predictions. You weren't as optimistic as I was.
But so from that, I say like I said, if Kyrie and Harden still have injury problems and the Bucks win that series against the Nets, I think the Sixers can handle the Bucks and they'll have a shot at an NBA title. So that's exciting. But
listen, man, I feel really good. Obviously, the Nets were always the team I feared the most. I've always been confident about the Sixers beating the Nets. But West Coast, East Coast, or Eastern and Western Conference, the Nets were always the scariest team. And without Harden, they're still scary. Without Kyrie, they're a shell of themselves, and it's going to show. And Durant's awesome, but he's not going to win with this roster that's next to him.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, it all comes down to every Sixers player coming together and doing their job.
Just keep doing what they've been doing. They look very good. Keep playing that defense.
Let him be.
We always beat the Bucks too. Yeah, the Bucks. We have their number. I'd feel good in this series against them.
If Embiid's getting 30 to 40 points a game, and Tobias has scored 20 plus 6 games in a row, and Ben's free throw is atrocious.
Brutal.
It still blows my mind that a NBA player making I think he's in top 10 contracts in the NBA.
Yeah, probably.
Making that much money can't shoot a ball.
Hey, listen,
that
Giannis can't
grade
do it either.
Schoolers do.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. It's not even like he's like a big man either, like a Shaq. Like I don't get it.
He just can't make.
Anyways,
that is the only criticism I have of this team so far in the playoffs.
As long as he keeps his turnovers down, which he's been doing, gets some good assists, gets his boards, and as long as Thibault keeps playing the phenomenal defense he's been playing, and as long as Tobias keeps getting, anywhere between 18 and 24 points a game, Seth Curry's still gonna hit his threes. Now everything's lined up for them to still keep winning games. So, like I said, it's if Embiid gets worse, if his injury gets worse and he has to sit out, then I'll be concerned. Because I don't think, no matter how good the rest of the team's playing, if you don't have your guy, you're not gonna. It's not like look what happened with the Lakers losing AD. Like he wasn't even, him and LeBron are the core of that team. You would think that losing just AD, LeBron would be able to handle, but LeBron was hurt too. So it's like, and he's not the same LeBron of old. Still a great player.
But he's older. You're asking too much of him. It's the same thing with Durant and the Nets. The team's not strong enough around him to miss a core piece like that. And now the Sixers would be in the same boat. So I hear you. Listen, I predicted them to win the championship. I'm still very confident about that as long as that meniscus is okay. Literally the hopes of the city are hanging on whatever small amount of ligament is holding the rest of that meniscus together and Joel Embiid's knee.
Now, I'll say this just to get a little ahead of ourselves. Are you more scared? Let's say the Sixers, everything goes smoothly, they're in the finals. Are you more worried to face the Suns or the Jazz right now?
I'd be more worried about the Jazz.
Really?
To be honest. Yeah. I
mean, Embiid put up like 40 on Gobert the game they played in the season. So
you know what? And I know we started with this. I just never bought into the Suns, and maybe that's me still, not giving them.
They're about to sweep the Nuggets, and you still haven't bought in.
I feel like they're a young team. I think they'll have a trouble slowing us down for the most part. And I think it's a team that you could play some bully ball and really beat up on the Suns if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's 63-55 at half, Suns. Yeah, they maintained like a 8 to 10 point lead most of this game. So
yeah. The Jazz are a good team. I've actually, and I know my big criticism why I thought the Clippers would win was the wing defense. But gotta say, watching some of that game, Bogdanovich has played some solid defense on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George when he's been asked to guard them, and much better than I think I expected. Royce O'Neal's solid, so they're playing much better defensively against the wings in LA than I expected, and it's showing in the series.
I mean, yeah, I think so. That's the thing. It's like we said before, injuries are going to play a role. And then as well as like how many young players are going to continue to step up, who's going to step up on defense. And so we'll see.
I wanted to ask you
go ahead.
As a final, let's wrap everything with this as well, the awards. What did you, any thoughts, any surprises? I mean, I think everything went pretty expected. Jokic obviously won the MVP. Thibodeau got Coach of the Year, which I think was the most surprising. Clarkson, now that they officially announced MVP and they're all wrapped up, anything that surprised you?
I don't think Thibodeau should have gotten Coach of the Year. He did a great job with the Knicks, but I mean,
just how pathetic the Knicks are. That just
I guess
it's turning them around, having the Knicks relevant. You win Coach.
Was this his first season as coach with them?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I still probably want to win Monty Williams there. I don't know. I'm fine with Jokic winning MVP. Like we said, when we were doing that award episode, his stats are crazy. And I love Embiid. He's my favorite Sixer right now on the team, but I'm not surprised. I'm a little surprised he only got one vote for first, like number one. Did you see the voting? It was like all Jokic. And I think Curry got more number one spot votes than Embiid. But Embiid still came in second. I don't understand it, but
yeah, I don't know how the whole thing works. I mean, if he didn't miss the games, I still think he would have been the MVP.
Yeah. Defensive player of the year, I still think Ben Simmons over Gobert.
I agree. Yeah. It gets boring.
People see the problem was, especially when it was announced, people were trying to defend the fact that because a lot of people were making the argument that we would make is that Ben can guard 1 through 5, whereas Gobert really is only, under the net almost, like he's only guarding the bigger men. And people were like, oh, well, yeah, but that's his job is to guard those players. It's like, okay, but Ben is able to cover speedy point guards who, he definitely has his struggles with them. But Gobert gets bodied by big guys too. And I'm like,
I agree.
I was like
one-dimensional.
I was like, so you'd rather have a player who can guard 2 players on the other team than a player who can guard all 5, is what you're telling me. I was like, whatever.
But, yeah, I mean, he's incredible at protecting the rim, but that's pretty much all you're going to get defensively. I will say he does alter the game. Like you see a difference. The Clippers at times won't even go at him. Like they just don't even bother dribbling it down because they know just he's got it locked down.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like if so you can still take threes on him. You can still take mid-range shots on him. Like,
oh no, I agree. There's no way to avoid Ben Simmons defensively. It doesn't matter. Like whoever your best player is getting Simmons. Yeah, there's no one in the league that he can't match up really with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is whatever. It sucks that both of our Sixers came in second in votings. Like I said, I think Jokic deserved it. If Embiid had played all the games and wasn't hurt for he missed 20 games. Yeah, I think he would have run away with it. But yeah, the Gobert thing kind of bothered me a little bit. But he's still a great defender. Whatever, it's fine. Non-basketball, I do want to say, how about them Phillies? It's been on a bit of a streak. They won. They won 3 straight walk-offs against the Braves and then the Yankees, and then they smacked the Yankees 7-0 today.
Yeah. So Nola looked great, man.
4 or 5 straight wins. Look at they're above 500 for first time in a month, I think, 32 and 31. So hey, maybe if they can get, as long as they get that bullpen under, and the pitching can stay stable. Yeah. If they can push for wild card, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, I've been happy with them. The bullpen obviously is still very questionable on what you're going to get.
Oh yeah,
Nola started slow, so it's a good sign seeing him dominate today. If he can, because Wheeler's been awesome. If Nola can get back in the form and having 2 horses like that, that's going to help them a lot. And they've gotten contributions from a bunch of guys due to injuries. So I like that. What's his name? Williams, the guy that just had the walk off, just came up. He's done the Olympic team.
Yeah, the white dude.
Yeah, no, he's played well. The young guys that are playing in these roles have exceeded expectations, I would say.
Yeah, I mean that's what you would hope for. Yeah, I haven't been. I really we're not great with baseball. I would say I'm really only pay attention to the Phillies, but I've heard I think it's Jacob deGrom of the Mets. He's been having an unreal pitching year.
He's awesome. He's got a .6 ERA.
Yeah, he's all 4 runs all season or something like that.
Yeah, he's nasty dominance right now. It's extremely impressive to see what he's doing.
And I know we focus pretty much 99% on men's sports on this podcast, but I'd like to give a shout out to the Oklahoma women's softball team. Won the World Series.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'll tell you, I watched a lot of softball. I always watch a lot of the College World Series. I like it. I think it's competitive, and this, from what I was talking to some people about it who also watch softball, it's this is one of the better College World Series I had in a while, and a lot of people think same with the men's. Men's was having a pretty good tournament as well, and I think it's because of not having a tournament last year with COVID. Teams were a lot more competitive, so. I mean, they had on the women's side, they had JMU was not even ranked, and they got into. I think they were in the Final Four. So
how many teams are in the tournament for softball?
I don't know if it's 64 like it is March Madness, but they all play best of 3.
Okay.
So it's
can't be 64 if you don't want a best of 3. That would take months, I think, to finish.
No, they play every day, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but it was. It might have been 32. I don't remember because they played a lot. They play they do regionals first, so it's you play your sections and then that's how it's similar to the brackets in March Madness for basketball. But then it's then you whittle it down closer and closer. So I mean, some of the good teams took care of business in 2 games, had a little bit of rest, and then the other teams would kind of struggle. But there was quite a few upsets. I mean, Virginia Tech played well for a little bit. They weren't ranked either, so.
Look at you on top of softball. I'm impressed by your
softball's fun. I like
expanding in your sports knowledge.
College softball is great. But
speaking of what's up? We had the big news. When we're not talking about college softball, we primarily talk, I think, football. But
correct.
What are your thoughts on the big trade that went down?
Oh, Julio Jones.
Yeah, I don't believe that happened yet when we did our last podcast.
No, that was a couple days ago.
Tell you that offense is going to be very interesting. A lot of things are going to be happening, I think.
I mean, I forget who I was having this conversation with, but like, can you imagine trying to game plan for that? Like, Ryan Tannehill is a very like he's a good quarterback. He'll get the job done. He's not like, MVP caliber, I would say, but he's a borderline Pro Bowler when he's healthy and playing well. So you got like a decent quarterback, right? And then you have I forget who their tight end is, but he's like a younger guy. He's solid. That's why I think they were okay letting Jonnu Smith walk to the Patriots because they thought they had a viable backup. But
yeah.
So their passing game was already solid, especially with AJ Brown, who's a beast. And then, of course, you have King Henry, Derrick Henry, the running back.
Yeah.
And now you factor in Julio Jones. So I think I was talking to Nick about this. It's like you got to imagine being like a linebacker or a safety. If your responsibility is to spy on the QB or spy on the running back, you're supposed to read that. Like, so you got to worry about a play. Like, imagine play action on that offense. You got to worry about Derrick Henry getting the ball.
Yeah.
Or who is guarding AJ Brown? Who is guarding Julio Jones? Are you double teaming one of them? Then you have like other players are going to get open because you're missing defenders because they're on other players. So it's like, oh my God. As long as Julio stays healthy, that offense might be scary.
It is going to be, yeah. I mean, you have 3 impact players, like a guy that, can just beat one-on-one in whatever matchup you want.
They're players that should be doubled.
Yeah, you got 3 impact guys that you need a game plan for that can just dominate on their own. I mean, Ryan Tannehill revitalized his career off the Derrick Henry play action. It was deadly without Julio Jones. Julio Jones was, just demanding double team pretty much every time he's out there. It's going to be tough to stop. Where do we like the Titans? I probably put them in, depending on how that defense holds up, because they still have a suspect secondary and not much of a pass rush, even with Bud Dupree.
The defense is solid, I think.
I might slide them in that 3rd spot, right behind the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC. Jump the Steelers and the Ravens.
No. I would say, I haven't even looked into this to think about it. As far as like who I think talent-wise, coaching players, and not really looking at schedules and strengths of schedule and all that. Chiefs, Bills. I really like the Browns. I'll put the Browns at 3.
Browns are solid, yeah.
And then Titans. Ravens, I think, have a lot of question marks. Steelers have a lot of question marks. AFC is pretty wide open, honestly. Patriots could come out of nowhere and be good again.
It's definitely
Dolphins are young and talented. Jets are not going anywhere.
It's definitely the more competitive division, or conference. I think
NFC
it's wide
is still
open.
more stout. NFC is definitely more the stronger division. The AFC is definitely gonna have some competitions. I just hope and there were already like jokes about Titans getting bounced in the divisional round. I was like, all right, they got to get over that hump, but they'll get there.
Getting Julio Jones, I think, is going to help in accomplishing that.
Yeah,
I like the move a lot. I think team and player fit. It made a lot of sense. Didn't really have to give up too much either. You didn't give up the 1st round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a 2nd and a 4th or something.
Yeah, I was like surprised they
for Julio Jones. I'm all for that. That's an easy one.
So we talked basketball, we just talked football, talked softball.
That is true.
Talked baseball.
Yeah.
So might as well end on some hockey. I'm not gonna lie, when the Flyers aren't in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I don't really pay too much attention. But that's not to say I'm not entertained. Like playoff hockey is some of the best sports to watch. But I've been busy with other stuff, having really dedicated time to looking at it. But how the hell are the Islanders in the like they just beat the Lightning? I think it was today or yesterday in game 1 of that series.
Today. Yeah, the Islanders are a good team. Man.
I know their goalkeeping and defending was good, but I didn't.
I actually thought this last year when they played the Flyers. I was like, damn, this team's pretty solid. Like their depth is really good. That's the one thing that I remember taking away out of that series mostly was they have just every line out there. They have very quality, good players on every single line. But yeah, I mean, I have been following along. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I'm with you. I do. I love playoff hockey, but just the way this Flyer season went has just ruined the sport for me. I'm just so bitter with the Flyers, and I hate where they're at because I think they're in a real tough spot. And I don't even think they're close to be a competitive team. And it's just disgusting. It hurts me to watch the playoffs because I'm like, these teams are just so much better than the Flyers and don't have issues that we do.
Flyers went from like they got the number 1 seed in the bubble playoffs in the East to then missing the playoffs. A lot of question marks. It really depends on what the management decides to do, because if they decide to blow it up and get rid of players like Voracek and stuff, then they'll probably be rebuilding again. I think it also is important they figure out what they want to do with Nolan Patrick. They want to give him more chances to figure out his. I mean, he was the number 2 pick.
I think a while ago. I mean, you just the problem with them is they went from a very good team with a generational goalie, but they were a very young team too. So they're going to get better.
Yeah.
But now they all seem like they've all gotten worse. So now you have a young team that isn't very skilled and a goalie that suddenly forgot how to play goalie.
Yeah.
It's worrisome. I mean, they're too young, I think, to blow it up because, you'd hope they can figure these out. But at the same time, man, you really hope that they would take a step forward, and they just went backwards a lot.
I can't imagine Hart goes into the offseason and doesn't try to get better.
Well, I think every athlete tries to get better in the offseason.
Yeah. So I don't think they can get worse.
Don't say
hopefully.
That.
Knock on wood.
The problem is, the main problem with the Flyers, though, I do think they're going to get worse.
The problem is they have so much young talent, and it's just not quite in the right spots. Like, the biggest problem that I saw with them was lack of consistency in scoring, and then just horrendous defense. Like, they were so brutal. Bad. That's why Carter Hart didn't play well. Like, I mean, granted, he did not have his best season. But
I know.
I think the defense was so bad that, like, he basically was given one-on-ones most of the time. It's like, how many times is a goalie going to stop a one-on-one? Like, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, listen, I agree. There were, even last year when they were on their run, there were times where I was just like, wow, this defense stinks. It's just Carter's just making incredible saves. And you know what? It caught up to you because he's not making those incredible saves, and he's not making saves in general. But I'm worried. So it is kind of stink. I know the Islanders won today, but I still like the Lightning. I think I think my prediction last year was Vegas and the Lightning, with the Lightning winning in the Stanley Cup. And I'm thinking the same thing this year, although I'm going to take Vegas this time. Vegas looks good. They just knocked off the Avalanche, who I think was, the best team in hockey pretty much all year.
Yeah.
I like them. I think they're pretty solid, but we'll see. I mean, the Flyers are really just killing all interest in the NHL. Not going to lie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the bracket right now. Montreal beat Toronto, and they were the 1 seed, and then the 1 seed.
Gary Price is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, so Montreal's been playing really well. They're going against the Knights, and then, like you said, Tampa and the Islanders. Some great goalkeeping in these series. It'll be. I mean, I'll definitely watch. I'll try to catch more games now that it's only 4 teams left, but definitely if you're not too familiar with hockey and you're listening to this, I would definitely catch some of these games, because the intensity is like from the puck drop to the last second on the clock in the third period. Like, games go nuts. But
well, I think we did a very successful job of touching on every single sport.
Any cricket news or any badminton, anything to talk about?
Do you see? Well, speaking of pretty much on everything, do you see that guy in I forget, what was it, Finland maybe, in the Euros they got going on right now, who died and they brought back to life? It was the craziest thing.
I did not.
He had like a heart attack or something. They had to get one of those, they're like the clear. They did it on the field. They had to cancel the game.
Defibrillator?
Yeah, it was crazy. The guy just went down.
What an explanation.
Yeah. So that was pretty scary.
Wait, and he went back in the game?
No, he did not go back.
I was gonna say, there's no way they let him play.
They didn't even finish the game. They postponed it.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
This guy.
The way you said it, you acted like he went back.
I think at one point he died, and you're wondering if he went back in. Oh, what's his status going forward? He's questionable. Death is the injury. Yeah. Nut. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it was definitely the scariest thing I've seen on a sports field. Like, it was very terrifying. So I believe he's doing better. So
well, to end on another crazy fact. Did you see over the weekend that some fisherman got swallowed by a whale and lived?
Oh, you know what? I did see that. I saw it pop up. Sorry, very interesting.
Yeah.
So many
like,
questions.
Can you imagine that as like a conversation piece? Like, people like sit down for a drink or something, or you like a family barbecue. Like, oh yeah, how's your weekend going? Like anything new? Oh yeah, I got swallowed by a whale. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, he said he's a lobster fisherman or something. He was scuba diving, I guess, for lobsters, and he said it got all dark, and he's like, "Oh, this is when I realized I'm inside a whale's mouth." And apparently, the whale like went to surface and spit him out because he sensed something wrong in his mouth.
Didn't like the taste.
It's like, that's a hell of a fucking story.
That is a hell of a story. It's impressive that he survived.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that wraps it up on this episode. We originally just going to talk Sixers and NBA playoffs, and then we went on a pretty strong tangent. But
yeah, I love tangents.
You get a little bit of everything with this show.
That is true. I learned more about softball, so that's good.
Softball's great. Yeah. Check it out.
I'll get in it. Now let me go see the Nuggets get swept. Although it's still a close game, I believe. I think I just looked at score and was it 6-point lead? Double check.
It is 83-75 Suns with 4 minutes to go in the third.
Yeah, okay, maybe they're starting to pull away, so we'll give that a go and see how that goes. So
don't grill us if you listen to this tomorrow and the Suns or Nuggets won, because we don't know.
Alrighty, well, it's been a pleasure.
All right, everyone have a great week and take care.